Hi, I'm Dr. Rodney White with Sapi Chiropractic, and today I have Shawn Benge from State Farm Insurance joining me for the second in our series of videos on essentially what to do when you have bodily injury in a car accident. And we were talking last week about Medpay. Just to quickly sum up for you guys, Medpay is a little part of your insurance policy that covers you or your passengers for bodily injury. So let's say you get some whiplash, you end up at our office getting adjustments. Medpay allows you to bypass having to deal with it yourself. We just send the bill straight to your adjuster, your insurance pays us, everything's all fine and dandy. Now, what happens though in the case where you might go through your Medpay? Let's say you only have a $5,000 maximum, you get in a pretty bad accident, you end up in hospital, you get a CT scan, MRI, everything's now blown out of the water. So Shawn's going to jump in and tell us what you would do if you're at fault versus also if you're not at fault and you either have no Medpay or you've exhausted it.
Right. So when we're talking about accidents, the first thing that you typically hear about is who was at fault, okay? So the different circumstances of the accident could mean whose insurance company is paying for what damages, right? Many people have heard of like 25, 50, 25 or 250, 500, 100 being your bodily injury limits. So what those are for is if I'm in an accident, if I hit somebody, I'm responsible for all of the damages in that accident. The first and what can be very high would be bodily injury, okay? So
meaning what? You hit me and you maim me, I can never work again.
Right. So if I'm driving down the road, I rear end Dr. White and he's hurt, obviously his car's damaged, and maybe I have a passenger in with me that's also injured, right? Well, since I'm the driver, I was at fault, I'm responsible for all of those. So the first step of it would be our Medpay, okay? So Medpay pays any bodily injury for me or any passengers in my car, okay, up to the limits that I have. The second portion now is if Dr. White is injured in that accident is I'm also responsible for any of his injuries, right?
So Medpay doesn't cover
the other drivers, okay, right? Anyone in the other vehicle. That's where the 250, 500 portion or bodily injury comes in. Because now I'm going to pay up to my limits of insurance. Let's say I have $250,000 per person for coverage. Well, now $250,000 of Dr. White's injuries are going to be covered under my policy.
Okay, so if you have a Medpay and you've got injuries up to say $200,000, but you had a Medpay of $5,000,
right?
What would happen if, let's say, first of all, you weren't at fault? So someone rear ends you, okay, they're at fault, you've opened a Medpay, that's covered the maximum it's going to cover. Right. Now what should you do?
Well, at that point, we're going to go through the other insurance company for damages on their bodily injury. Okay, so in a car accident, the car insurance is always the primary insurance, whereas after that's exhausted, we may look into your health insurance could be something that can pick that up.
Meaning like their Blue Cross, United, those kind of things.
Yep, that would be the secondary in this case.
Okay, is it, so then in most cases, if it's proven that the other driver's at fault, there's a police report and everything, how do you find, is it easy or difficult usually to collect from that other party?
Well, the problem with collecting from another insurance company that's not your own is a lot of times they're going to wait until things are finalized or they're settled. Many people that have been in an accident get a letter from a company saying, hey, we want to close this claim out. Sometimes they'll offer you a settlement, like a $500 settlement. What they want you to do is they want you to sign off on that accident saying, I'm no longer going to file any bodily injury claims on that policy. But so they want to finalize that before they pay their bills. Okay. And that's where it can be complicated for the person in an accident, because the doctor's office is typically not going to wait, or hospital is not going to wait until, 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road to bill. They're going to bill right away.
Okay, and we're going to expand on some of the things you said there in the next video. The last piece we want to chat today about, what if you're at fault, you run off the road, you get bodily injury yourself, Medpay is exhausted, then what? You have to just go through your own health insurance. That's your only option?
At that point, you've exhausted what your insurance is going to cover for yourself, then you're going to look to your health insurance to cover the rest.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for your insight today, Shawn. We always appreciate it. We're going to keep Shawn's details in the comments section below. If you have any auto insurance or questions along those lines, then feel free to reach out to him. And we trust him quite a lot, so we certainly bounce some questions off him as well. So that's all we have today. We'll see you next time.